you do. I'm feeling supersonic signal. You ain't lay a finger, but I feel you. Independent woman,
I like this. I like this. Messing around by phony people. I think it is. Shout out to that brother. I like the vibes. Nice, good summertime vibes. I like that. Remind me of Pharrell, the Neptunes. Yeah, yeah, most definitely. Shout out to the people right here. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Your boy Corbin reporting live with another one. We about to go in. I thank y'all for tuning in. I thank y'all for checking out the videos as always. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, dislike button, whatever it is. Salute, thank you regardless. Now, for the ones who have seen my posts and the fact that I'm breaking this presentation to you right now, then you know that this is going to be a very, very serious one. A lot of people right now, there's a lot of frustration in the air. You know, yet again, another black brother slain. Ahmaud Arbery, if I'm saying the name right, Arbery, or Ahmaud Arbery. I don't want to mess the brother's name up, but the brother was lynched, murdered, slain in Georgia on February the 23rd. We're just recently now hearing about this in May, but he was killed February the 23rd. So there's definitely level to this shit, guys, but we're going to go deep really into this today. And if you're like me, you have seen the Mike Brown situations. You have seen the Trayvon Martin situations. You have seen the Sean Bell situations. Many more situations. You have seen these, and we have seen them play out time after time after time again, where at the end it seems like the suspect, the person, the Caucasian, they always get away scot-free. Especially when they previously have a connection with the law enforcement. Time after time after time again. And people cannot, whether you're white or black, brown, doesn't matter. People are frustrated and they cannot understand, some people cannot understand why for decades and centuries is this a continuance that these people can keep on killing our kind and just killing in general, but definitely killing our kind and getting away with it. People, of course, we're going to be frustrated. Of course, people are like, you know what? Boom, boom, boom. That frustration is going to come with it. But guys, believe, play it smart. Know what you got to do. Build structure before you build a conversation. Build structure before you build conversation. Have a plan. Execute it. Because you can best believe that the apps, the 1% that we talk about, they have not only a plan laid out, but they have information, data on us that they've been collecting for years and years and years, waiting for us to react, predicting how we're going to react to this outrage. That's why you got to understand that a lot of this is propaganda. A lot of this is perfect timing, just like the bees after the coronavirus. You first have to understand that this is just a target for your psyche, for you to get upset, for you to be in an uproar, for you to cause chaos amongst chaos. Now trust me, there is nothing wrong with causing chaos. I, for one, am for chaos. But there's proper chaos. There's chaos with structure. Chaos that if you work and let it work for you and work for your benefits, then you don't have to worry about no op, anybody. But back to where we are right here, because I don't want to tear you off. We have sit back for years. Dylan Roof goes inside a church, act like he is a member or act like he wants to be an active member or just in the church, because you know how church people do. They let anybody in. He sits there, plays it cool, gets up, then shoots 9 people. I do believe it was 9 people. Innocent people. And then what do, black people? We forgive them. We pray, we forgive them. I can't think of it. I don't want to mess her name up. But the white girl that killed their brother in his own apartment. It might be Amber, but the Caucasian lady that went in there and she said she didn't know that she was in the wrong apartment. But previously, she's also been known to shoot at somebody else before she killed this brother. You see how our own kind, when she was in the court, how they just did her hair, how the brother who was the witness, who got killed after testifying, how the judge who was black, how she looked at him in disgust like, I don't know why you're here. So yeah, this has a lot to do about race, but this also has a lot to do about loyalty. So if we dig deep further in the Brother Allman's situation as it further goes in, we're going to hear some details that is nothing new. But what I want to do here today is break down the esotericness of it, as I do on my channel. I want to break down the reason why a lot of this stuff happens. A lot of people say, well, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what they think about us. I don't, whatever. You don't? Okay. When you're going to war, when you at war, when it's time for battle, you better know all angles of your op. You better know your enemy left, right, front, and back. This is chess, not motherfucking checkers. So for anybody to say, you know what, I don't care what they done die, I don't care what, no, it doesn't matter. I'm just ready to go. Okay. Go to war unprepared if you want to. And come out with your ass shown out. Your teeth in the ground. So let me read something right quick from you guys. This is, how many of y'all remember Mike Huckabee? Y'all remember Mike Huckabee? He was a Republican presidential candidate. You remember him, guys? Mike Huckabee. Well, I want to read something, guys, and this is going to go deep. I told you I'm going deep into a lot of things, and I kind of want to wake things up for you, because at the end of the day, the best thing for you to do is prepare yourself. Use your second right. Use your second right. Your Second Amendment. Be educated. Educate yourself. Build structure before you build noise. Build structure before you build noise. So let's go into what Mike Huckabee said. And this is an article, September the 10th, 2015. This is Mike Huckabee, Republican presidential candidate back in those days. Excuse me, just had a great meal. Mike Huckabee thinks there's a law that black people aren't fully human. Mike Huckabee thinks there's a law that black people aren't fully human. Can y'all see that? Y'all see that? Mike Huckabee and his wife right there. I'm not going to really go into long on this article, but, I'm going to break this down because I'm not making no rah-rah video. I'm not telling you to go out here and do this, telling you to go out there and do this. I'm not telling you to hide under a bush either. I'm telling you to understand the knowledge, understand what's going on in the minds of the people who are really coming at you, and understand why they're doing this. So once you understand why, you can go ahead and execute plan however you feel, however you need to. Do you understand what I'm saying? So think to my elite light ones. So once again, Mike Huckabee said, Mike Huckabee thinks there's a law that black people aren't fully human. Let's go in. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee said Wednesday that the 1857 U.S. Supreme Court decision, Dred Scott versus Sanford, and that's Dred Scott versus Sanford, that's D-E-R-E-D, Dred Scott versus Sanford, which ruled that people of the African race are not U.S. citizens, is still the law of the land. Let me read that again for y'all, just in case, what do you say, Corbin? Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee said Wednesday that the 1857 U.S. Supreme Court decision Dred Scott versus Sanford, which ruled the people of the African race are not U.S. citizens, is still the law of the land. So you might ask yourself, what does this have to do anything with Ahmaud's situation, or with Trayvon's situation, or with Mike Brown's situation, or with Sean Bell's situation, or with anybody's situation who is wrongfully and foulfully, I'm going to use that word, foulfully slaughtered or lynched? What does this have anything to do with it? Let me read that again so you can get this in your head. He was a Republican, presidential, running for that White House seat that Trump got. This is what he says. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee said Wednesday that the 1857 U.S. Supreme Court decision Dred Scott versus Sanford, which ruled that people of the African race are not U.S. citizens, is still the law of the land. The ruling, widely considered the worst in American history, was overruled in 1868 by the 14th Amendment. The Republican presidential candidate, Mike Huckabee, made the remarks to radio host Michael Medved, shortly after the Huckabee rally in support of Kim Davis, a country clerk who refused to grant marriage license to same-sex couples. BuzzFeed broke the story and had a recording of the audio. Now, this is the audio of what Michael Huckabee said. Now, listen. This is Mike Huckabee, and I quote, "The Dred Scott decision of 1857 still remains to this day the law of the land, which says that black people aren't fully human." Huckabee says, does anybody still follow the Dred Scott decisions? Does anybody still follow the law around here, guys? Republicans, jeez, stick at Democrats. Don't act like you don't know. Medved, listen, it's Medved. Medved just sounds real cool as shit. So Medved, the guy, the host who he was talking to, be careful who you talking shit around, because he was actually recording and probably didn't even know it. Medved quickly corrected Huckabee, telling him that the Dred Scott decision was overturned. Now, of course, he was on a radio station, but I don't know to the extent that he knew that, how spread this is going to be out there. But anyway, Medved quickly corrected Huckabee, telling him that the Dred Scott decision was overturned, although he incorrectly said it was overturned by the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, rather than the 14th, which addressed citizenship rights. The decision in Dred Scott versus Sanford established that African Americans, whether slaves or free, could not be citizens. It is also ruled that the federal government could not regulate slavery in territories, and that slave owners could not be deprived of their Fifth Amendment rights to property, which included slaves. Get some of this good Kool-Aid. So, I told you I'm not going to carry too much on that one. So, if you're sitting there and you're wondering, you really shouldn't be wondering that much, like, what does this have to do with any of this we're talking about with Sean Bell, Mike Brown, and the brother Ahmaud, all that. Well, listen, if you have this law, this amendment that was put in there, first put into law, that these Europeans, these Caucasians, abide by to say that we wouldn't even consider citizenships, and we wouldn't even consider citizens of this country. And then you have Mike Huckabee, who is saying, does anybody follow the rules around here? Does anybody listen to the law? These people are not even citizens. Think about that. So when the people said, I don't care what the origins is, I don't care. You don't? You just want to retaliate. I understand. Trust me, I do. But be smart about your shit. Build structure. Don't build noise. There's a lot of people out there right now who's building structure, who is securing their family, who's securing their homes, who is teaching and schooling their kids on the race and how to be better. And not just how to be better, how to survive in a world that is actually structured against them. So you have to teach them not only their own structure, how to build their own structure, but how to conquer and how to overcome the structure that has been built against them. So that was Mike Huckabee. And I have another one. I don't know if I might have ripped that apart. Let me see if my phone. There it is, right there. This is important too. Does it start to make sense to y'all just a little bit? No? Okay. This is an April 30th, 2019 article. And once again, before I even go in on this, y'all should already know by my channel. Y'all should already know by watching. A lot of y'all who already know me personally should already know. This is no racial views. This is no attacking any color. This is no color bashing at all. This is research on top of research. This is letting you know what's going on right now. Scientifically, genetically, what's going on right now. And why there's a target and been a target on the African American back so long. That was just one part on how Mike Huckabee feel and how the laws were put in there. How the laws were put in there that said that we weren't even citizens to begin with. So when they go here and kill our innocent babies and they go ahead and kill our brothers and kill our sisters or whatnot, they are protected by certain laws that already existed that said, you know what, they're not even citizens anyway. It would be like killing a deer or whatnot. Or killing a dog or whatnot, you know? Well, shoot, the dog probably got more rights than the deer, huh? So let's go into the next one. Because I'm not going to hold too much of your time up, right? The next article, April 30th, 2019. Let's bring genetics in this, can we? Now, we done brought law, but let's bring genetics in, can we? Let's talk our science shit. Since everybody want to go on religion, let's talk our science shit. Listen. The U.S. white majority will soon disappear forever. The U.S. white majority will soon disappear forever. And once again, guys, with no bias, I show you that. Can you see that? Awesome. The U.S. white majority will soon disappear forever. Now, what's this guy doing? What is this, Corbin? Now, listen. You got to understand the so-called people that y'all call the Illuminati, the so-called 1%, all that talk, they know beyond than what you know. It's always been about survival for them. You're thinking that they hate us because of the color of our skin. Well, the beautiful sister who's no longer with us right now, but with us in spirit, Frances Cress Wilson, told us this is not about no color. This is about survival. Jordan Peele, what was the movie? Get Out. Y'all thought that was just a fluke? And for those who haven't seen the movie, and for those who haven't seen the movie in a while, go back and watch that movie. And by the time you get finished watching this, it all makes sense a little bit more. Jordan Peele kept it real through the whole ordeal. And I still haven't watched Us yet. Gotta watch that. But really, and I'm not going to go too in depth on the Get Out movie. But for those who remember the Get Out movie, you remember. Stay woke. The U.S. white majority will soon disappear forever. So for those who are asking, what's this got to do with anything? Well, remember I gave you the Yakub story. And for those who haven't seen the Yakub story, peep my Yakub video I did on my channel, on this channel. And this can really fast forward into a lot. It's like a sequel. It can fast forward into a lot of what the aftermath of what Yakub successfully did in Patmos and with creating the white race and the trauma they went through and what they did, obviously, and what they continue to do. So listen to this. The U.S. white majority will soon disappear forever. I'm going to get one more Kool-Aid shot before I go in. Since the settlement of Jamestown in 1607, and the start of the colonial period, the U.S. has been predominantly white. But the white share of the U.S. population has been dropping from a little under 90% in 1950 to 60% in 2018. It would likely drop below 50% in another 25 years. White nationalists want America to be white again, but this will never happen. America is on its way to becoming predominantly non-white. And once again, guys, I want to show you this so you don't see. I'm going to show you the authors when I get done so you know this ain't no racial bias. This ain't no racial color bashing, none of this. This is all research. We're all doing facts here. I want you guys to really dig into the psyche of the people who you call the Illuminati or the 1% of the people who run this world. And if they know the gnosis of what I'm reading and with the stuff that we're discussing and the words and how the feelings that Mike Huckabee felt about black and the African race, then you got to dig a little bit deeper into why they are targeting us right now. And you're damn right, it's nothing right about it, nothing justified about it. But understand that the mother God, and all the energy that is coming around. See, we've been focused so much on the Father God, but now the balance is here. Respect to the energy of the Mother and the Father God, but now the balance is here. So everything is about to be washed, cleansed, and fully rinsed and dried. But let's continue to read on. White nationalists want America to be white again, but this will never happen. America is on its way to becoming predominantly non-white. And I want you to see, like I said, you can go on the website and you can see this up, but this is the chart that they have right there. Let me I can see that chart. Who is white? The U.S. federal government uses two questions to measure a person's race and ethnicity. One asks if the person is of Hispanic origin, and the other asks about the person's race. A person is defined as white if he or she identifies as being only white and non-Hispanic. A minority or non-white person is anyone who is solely non-Hispanic white. I'm going to keep on going on. Whites were not the first people to settle in what is now the U.S. The first immigrants were a people known today as American Indians and Alaskan Natives, also commonly referred to as Native Americans. They arrived in North America around 14,000 years ago. When Christopher Columbus arrived in America in 1492, there were around 10 million American Indians living in the land north of Mexico, but by the 1800s their numbers had dwindled to about 1 million. They are now the smallest race group in the U.S. The first sizable stream of immigrants to what is now the U.S. were whites from England. Their arrival at Plymouth in 1620 in search of religious freedom marked the start of large waves of whites coming to this land. Now, I'm not going to read too much on, they talk about the declining numbers. They also go into the census, which also, if you know the census, they also collect all the data, by the way. So that's why I tell you another thing. They know. The Census Bureau projection shows that U.S. populations will be majority-minority sometime between 2040 and 2050. Our research suggests that this will happen around 2044. Indeed, in 2020, there are projected to be more non-white children than white children in the U.S. The non-white population is growing more rapidly than the white population. Minorities accounted for 92% of the U.S. population growth between 2010 and 2018, with Latinos comprising just under half of the nation's overall growth. Now, I want y'all to sit back and let that sink in for a little bit. Now, listen to this, and I'm going to end on this note with this. The future of whiteness. The aging white population, alongside a more youthful minority population, especially in the case of Latinos, will result in the U.S. becoming a majority-minority country in around 2044. The demographic shift in the U.S. has resulted in many whites proclaiming they are losing their country. Listen to this. The demographic shift in the U.S. has resulted in many whites proclaiming that they are losing their country and that they are already or will soon become a minority group. In her research on working-class whites in rural Louisiana, sociologist Arlie Russell Hochschild observed that many whites feel frustrated. There's that word. Sociologist Arlie Russell Hochschild observed that many whites feel frustrated and betrayed, like they are now strangers in their own land. Let me read that again, please. Sociologist Arlie Russell Hochschild observes that many whites feel frustrated and betrayed, like they are now strangers in their own land. In Trump, they saw a white man who brought them together to take their country back. Hochschild pointed out that at a Trump campaign rally, whites held signs with slogans such as "Trump make America great again" and "Solid majority stands with Trump." Mm, 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 mm. Is that all of it? I thought it was in the one piece that I wanted. It was one piece, and these are the author, these are the writers of that. So I believe it's Caucasian brother, and then you have a Latino brother. I do believe it in the name. It was one part I wanted to find. This happens to no. Here we go, and then I'm going to end on this site with this one. But thank you for watching. The decline of the white share of the U.S. population could result in a shifting of racial boundaries. Excuse me. Let me read that again. The decline of the white share of the U.S. population could result in the shifting of racial boundaries to assign whiteness to some people of color so as to bolster the white numbers. That means interbreeding, pretty much, is what they're saying. Listen to what it says. The decline of the white share of the U.S. population could result of the shifting of racial boundaries to assign whiteness to some people of color so as to bolster the white numbers. This happened. Listen to this one. This has happened before. Groups that were initially seen as very different from whites, such as the Irish and Italians, once sought to distance themselves from blacks and eventually were accepted as white. I want y'all to see that. I can't make this shit up, man. So y'all see that. Listen to this. This has happened before. Groups that were initially seen as very different from whites, such as the Irish and Italians, once sought to distance themselves from blacks and eventually were accepted as white. In addition, although persons of Mexican origin largely identified racially as white, in the 1930 census, Mexicans were used as a racial category at a time where there was heightened hostility against Mexicans due to their growing population size and the Great Depression. So once again, if you're like, what does this have to do with anything? This is not about the color of your skin. This has always been about survival for the Caucasian race. If you have watched the Yakub video, when Yakub created the Caucasian race, it was about 6,000 years ago? I believe 6,500 years ago. So if these people, if these Caucasian race, these Europeans, Caucasoid, whatever you want to call it, the ones in higher power know this. Don't you think that it is in their best interest to make sure they survive, make sure they live, make sure they extend their generations to come and their bloodline? It goes deep. See, nobody wants to do the science of this. We just look at this and we get frustrated and we get mad and we want to go out here, we want to go take somebody out, and you want to go ahead and knock somebody's head out, which I'm all for. But have a structure. We need a structure. We talk about what we want to do to the op, or what we want to do to people who do harm for us, but we don't even want to build. This is my issue with it. We're so quick to say what we want to do and how we want to revolt and how we want to just destroy the op, but we're too busy out here right now killing ourselves. We're too much pride within us to build with the next man. This man out here got a plan. He got a whole structure. He's ready to build. But just because there's your pride in the way, that ego, man, I can do my own thing. That's one of our biggest mistakes, and that's one of our biggest problems, and one of our biggest issues, I do believe, and this is my opinion, within our race, within our people, is that the pride and the ego gets in the way. If we come together like the tribes, the tribals, we're just talking about the Indians, how the tribes, but in ancient times, and especially Kemet, and even further, in Australia, the Aboriginals in Australia, all these tribes that a lot of us don't even know about. It's all about unity, coming together, making sure that your family, making sure that your neighbor is good, making sure that there's trust is there, love is there. But we so much hating each other, killing each other over jewelry, over shoes, over what we got on, ready to kill this man because of a woman. So how can we prepare and build a structure? How can we prepare and build a structure and prepare for the op when we still killing our own selves? When we still judging our own self, when we won't build, we won't help our own brother, we won't help our own sister build. How can we worry about coming after op if we don't have our own shit right? That's all I'm saying. I'm all for justified action. And no, I'm not advocating violence. I'm advocating defense. Because that's what we really start needing to build. And we're really talking about, we're tired of seeing our brothers, tired of seeing our sons, tired of seeing our babies murdered on the streets. Then we need to come together as a unified movement, as a unified one. And we need to come and let these people know that, look, this is not happening no more. We have the Second Amendment. We're going to abide by our Second Amendment, and we're going to stick together. We're going to become one, and we're going to make sure that, guess what, nobody violates our kids, nobody violates our neighborhoods, nobody violates our rights. But until we come together as a unified action, a unified entity, that rah-rah talk is just what it is, and that's rah-rah. But I got 32, and I want to go one more on a beautiful woman. And this is now, I gave you the law, the amendments, that the 13 to 14 amendments that Michael Huckabee rah-rah that he was talking, how he felt like, what? Black people, they're not even citizens. What are we even doing consulting with them anyway? That's how the past presidential candidate felt. And that's why he's not in the motherfucking office. But guess what? There's a lot more in that White House and in Congress and in the Senate, Republican and Democrat, that think just like him, who are in there. So let me go into a beautiful woman who's no longer with us, but she's also with us in spirit. And we're going to go in her name. And her beautiful name is Henrietta Lacks. And I'm going to give you guys a picture of this beautiful woman once it loads. Hope you are doing good out there. Henrietta Lacks. Let me give you a nice zoom in picture, so beautiful, of Henrietta Lacks. Beautiful